everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Nicole and I'm an occupational therapy practitioner. On this channel, I share tips on how to live a healthier, happier, and more intentional life. But today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different because I've been seeing this circulating all over YouTube and I really wanted to give it a try. So today I'll be doing the Booktube newbie tag and answering some of the questions so you guys can get to know me just a little bit better. I've been watching a couple different Booktube newbie tags, but I think the first one I saw was from Nickelle's Nook. So I'm gonna post her channel in the link down below if you wanna check it out. And after I watched hers, I was really inspired to do one on my own. So the first question is, why did you start this channel? Starting YouTube has always been something I've wanted to try, and I put out a video a long time ago doing a makeup tutorial, and it just didn't really stick at the time because I was in school and I just didn't make it a priority. One of the things that really held me back was I was afraid and embarrassed to put myself out there. So really the main reason for starting this channel was just wanting to be bold and wanting to be brave and trying something that I've always wanted to do and not really worrying about the outcome, just trying to enjoy the process. I got really interested in Booktube last year because I used to be a huge reader back when I was younger. I would just read all day, spent so much time in the library, but as I got older, I just didn't make much time for reading and I put it aside for so many years. But now that I'm done with school and working, I've really found my joy in reading again. After I moved from California, where all my friends and family were, to Washington and not knowing anybody, there was a time where I felt really lonely and isolated from all of my friends and family. So I have made friends since, but it still gets lonely sometimes. It's just been a joy to see other people share similar interests as me. So I'm really hoping to connect with other people and just have a positive community of people who really like to read and share their thoughts. So hopefully I can meet some new friends by doing this. But the next question is, what is unique about this channel? So when I started this channel, I really had this idea in mind of being able to bridge what I do in my day job to YouTube. I work with people with different types of disabilities, injuries, and conditions, learn the tools and the strategies they need so they can do things that are most meaningful to them. So I really want to combine all of the experiences I've had with my patients and in my own personal life with things that I've read in fiction books or nonfiction books or those self-development books to share these strategies so other people can use them. Next question is, why do you love reading? So like I mentioned before, when I was younger, I used to be a huge bookworm. I remember spending most of my time at the library and just having my nose buried in books. And I think what really started that love for books was just being able to be transported to a completely different world and immerse myself in these different lives of characters. And reading allows me to travel anywhere in the world or at any period in time or even distant fantasy lands and feel like I'm right there with the characters, living it as if it was my own experience. I always felt like books really fulfilled that side of wanting to have these grand adventures without ever really having to leave my house. So that's why I love books. They're just so transportive. My favorite stories are where I really can relate to the characters and I can share in all of their triumphs and all of their losses, and it just makes me feel so much more connected. So that's why I love to read. Favorite books. My favorite books of all time will always be Harry Potter. I loved the Harry Potter series. I've read those books so many times. I've watched the movie so many times, and I remember waiting for my letter to come in the mail from Hogwarts, and of course it never did, but I did get to go to Hogwarts at Universal Studios with my sisters, so that did fulfill some of the fantasies that I had. I remember I was the same age as the characters as the books were coming out, so it really felt like this beautiful coming of age, and I could really see myself in those characters and the things that they were going through, hitting puberty and just going through having your first crush and having fights with your friends and just realizing that the world is sometimes a darker place than you thought initially. So I really loved the Magic Tree House books. I remember anytime there was a new one at the library, I would jump on it, and I think there were these little like pamphlets at school or book fairs where you could buy books, and I remember always begging my parents to get them. As an adult, like I said, I just started getting back into reading, but some of the books that I really love are All the Light We Cannot See. I've really been into historical fiction lately, but I have been getting through my TBR list more, so hopefully I will have some new and updated favorite books this year that I will share with you guys. Next question is, what are the challenges to overcoming starting a Booktube channel? And I think I touched on this earlier, and one of the biggest challenges and obstacles I think is really just getting started. For me, it really was just getting over that fear and anxiety of putting myself out there. So I think once I was able to get out of my head and just take action, it didn't feel as scary, and I'm really glad that I did it. The other challenge would be time management for sure. You know, with another job and personal responsibilities and life happening, I really have had to prioritize YouTube and carve time into my schedule to do things like looking up titles and thumbnails and scripting videos, filming them, and really just enjoying the process of learning these new skills. So I would have to say that the fear of getting started and also managing my time will probably be the biggest obstacles that I'll have to overcome. The next question is, when did you start reading? And I started reading as soon as I could read, so I don't know, probably like 6 or 7 years old. I was at the library a lot, so I just devoured all the books that I could. The next question is, where do you read? And I do most of my reading at home. I have a beanbag and I have a little reading chair that I like to do my reading on. And I like to read in bed before sleep as well. Sometimes on the weekend, I'll read when I wake up in bed for a few minutes just to do something grounding before I start my day. I also like to listen to audiobooks, usually when I'm on my way to work or sometimes when I'm going on a walk around the neighborhood or doing chores. Sometimes I will read at a bookstore or a coffee shop, but I get distracted very easily, so I prefer to read in a quiet space so that I can really just focus on what I'm reading. The next question is a fun one. What kind of books do you like to read, or what kind of genre do you like to read? And I think right now I'm really into historical fiction. There is something about being transported to a time period and imagining what it was like then and there and experiencing it through another character's perspective. I also just read a Western, which isn't typically something I would go for, but I actually really enjoyed it, so that was a surprise for me. I also really like fantasy. I forgot to mention earlier that one of my favorite book series of all time is Game of Thrones. I don't know how I forgot to mention that, probably because I'm not finished with it yet. I'm only about 2 books in because I've already watched the show. I'm really hoping that the books can make up for how terrible the TV show ending was, but you know, that's a discussion for another time. I also really like a good thriller book, as long as it's not too graphic or gory. I do get a little bit squeamish, but I do like a good true crime sort of situation, who did it, although my detective skills are pretty terrible because I'm always wrong, but I do enjoy myself a good mystery and thriller occasionally. I'm really trying to get back into more romance novels, especially since February is coming up and I have this book club with my friends where we're doing a theme of books about all different kinds of love, romantic love and platonic love. So I'm really excited to dive into a couple of romance books for the next month. But if you guys know any good book recommendations, please let me know because I'm always adding to my TBR. Next question is, what does my book collection look like? And this is my bookshelf right here. So as you can see, I have a pretty good variety. Most of the books that I have right now are fiction, but I do have a couple of nonfiction books in there. My husband and I share this bookshelf, so a couple of the books are his. I really hope to get more books soon so that I can add to my collection, but you know, I want to be more intentional about the books that I buy because it can be really tempting to just want to buy so many books. I've been trying to utilize the library more and Libby, which is a free library app, to save some money. So I'll definitely share with you guys once I get a couple new books in. So those are all of the questions. I had a lot of fun answering them, and I'm really thankful that you guys stuck around and watched this. So if you liked this video, if you want to connect, if you want to become Booktube friends, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing to my channel because it would really help me out. So I will see you guys in my next video, and please remember to take care of yourselves because you deserve it.